Hey, what's up? This is Corey, Reedy River Goods. This is my channel. I know what you were thinking. You were sitting there saying, how come my thread just don't look right when I hand stitch leather? I knew it. So you know what? I put together a video for you. So here I am. This is my channel. It is a leatherworking channel with different leathercraft projects. Leather work that I do. I also show tutorials, give tips and things on leathercraft in itself. Today we're talking about thread size. Does thread size matter? Size matters. Alright, so if you look over my shoulder here, you'll see a lot of these I have replaced and all, but a lot of those I've had for 6 or 7 years now, and I essentially bought the leather hand sewing starter kit, which came with about 25 different colors and things of this wax thread here. It is cheap. It is very waxy and there's lots of residue on it. It works, it's strong, I haven't had any real problems with it. But as I started making a few more dollars, I moved up to Ritza Tiger thread. It's a very common, very popular thread that people use for hand stitching leather. And I never fully understood, because I'm like, why would I buy one spool for, you know, what are they, 25? I think these smaller ones are like $8 or $9, maybe 10 bucks. And then some of the bigger ones, you're talking 25, 30. I'm like, why would I buy one when I can get 30 others? But I really started liking it and started using it, and I haven't gone back. So it does a lot of leather work. You get what you pay for, and I really feel like that's the case when it comes to the thread that you use. So again, it is a Ritza Tiger thread. It comes kind of your more standard sizes. They measure it in millimeters. 0.6 millimeters to 1.22 is kind of the, I guess that's kind of your inside ranges. So it starts out at ultralight at 0.6, and then it's light, and then it's medium and heavy, going in that order, descending. We will look at my little guide here shortly. But that's kind of where I started. There are some, you can get a 0.4, and I feel like I've seen a 1.6 that you can get, but those are kind of the more standard sizes. And for the projects I do, they get the job done. So that's all I'm really looking for. But it is a polyester thread. It's braided, and it sits, you don't see frays, you don't see any kind of messes like that. It's lightly waxed. You can see, pull it tight and it just kind of stays where it is. So it has a lot of strength, a lot of durability, and this is a 1.2 here, so it's going to be one of the heavier ones that I use. But yeah, that's just kind of what I'm using for this particular video. And then on my thread sizing guide here, I actually use 2 different punches. There's the diamond punch. Let's see, you can see how much bigger it is. Now these carry the same distance, pretty close to the same amount of distance, but you see the number of teeth and the distance between stitches. I've really been digging this more, and if you think about it and if you do that math, it is about 25% less stitching, which I am all good with. So I have been using these. It's kind of a look thing, and when we look here at the thread guide, you can kind of see a difference there. So this one is a 4 millimeter, and this is 3.38. So you can see the differences in how the thread works, but it does give a nice clean finish, and I just kind of wanted to represent them on this guide so you can get a better idea here of this thread. I went ahead, this is super top notch, went ahead and did this on my laser so it looked really fancy. When I first started out in my leather crafting journey, I saw ultralight and 0.6 millimeters, and that didn't seem like it was going to be enough for me. So I didn't think that was going to do it. Turns out I was wrong. I ended up using kind of that more 0.8, which is kind of a more standard size. It's a little more, I guess, versatile. But yeah, so that one's kind of your mid-range right there. But yeah, this 0.6 is plenty. And if you see the differences, I don't know, it's a personal preference, but this 4mm stitch right here, the punch that I used, I just think that looks a little bit more clean. It's a little bit more pronounced. This is obviously a little bit more fine. I feel like I can notice more little imperfections in these when I use them. So I prefer kind of the bigger one, but to each their own. And also depending on your project, if you're doing, let's say an interior of a tote bag or something like that, for me, I kind of want to save more time. So I'm going to use something with a bigger reach. And but yeah, this hopefully just is, like I said, a quick guide, can kind of just show you, you know, kind of up close. If you just looked at spools, if I took, let me see, I have a 0.6 here, and I have the 1.2. Let me put them in some light there. Now this is gonna look stupid because this one has way more thread on it, but it's hard to kind of see the difference when you just kind of look at them. Or is it? I don't know. Actually, no, it isn't. It's pretty clear. Maybe not on camera, but while I'm looking at them here, there is a big difference. I didn't think I noticed as big of a difference when I just look at them. But, and again, I didn't think this was going to be enough, this 0.6. It's certainly enough. But let's look at some different projects and what you might be able to use. What projects would work best for which thread size that you have. Alright, so if we start at 0.6, this is what is considered ultralight, and that comes straight from Ritza. That's just how they name them. It's going to be more your refined looks. This one goes well around, let's say you take a watch strap and you have a stitch that goes all the way around. This is going to look really nice in there. This was one I noticed a lot when I first started doing watch straps. I was using too thick. I was like, something doesn't look right. Anytime I would finish them, my stitches would be straight, but it just didn't look right. And I believe it was because the stitching was too thick. So I picked the wrong thread size. Not that it didn't work. Just visually, I didn't like the end product as much. And then I started using a smaller 0.6, because I even think I had some at 1, but this 0.6 is much better, and there is a 0.4 you can use for hand stitching as well, which would also give a nice clean foot. But it's going to be something that, like a watch strap, that's not going to be under too much tension. It's essentially, you have two pieces of leather together and you're sewing them together, so it'll be plenty durable. It just won't look so clunky. So I do use this one now for watch bands, interiors of wallets, areas where maybe my stitch line maybe only be whatever, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, something like that. And it's a relatively, not delicate leather, but kind of on the softer side, or maybe on the thinner side when it comes to leather. This is good for that. I'll get to where you don't use it in a minute. But so that's the 0.6. 0.8, again, it's considered a lightweight. It's also a very common and probably the most, I guess, not universal, but most versatile size that you can use, because you can kind of use it for a good number of things. And I have over the years and put it to the test. So that's probably my number one use. So again, you can see the 0.6. Here we're talking now about the 0.8. Doesn't look like a huge difference, but I really notice in a project when I do use it. Most of my little card holders and things of that nature, I use the 0.8. It's always a personal preference whether you want to complement the leather or completely contrast that sucker. I prefer contrast, but yeah, you see how nicely it lays in there. It's really clean. It looks really nice. I think that adds a lot to the project. I never would have thought that, but once I started using it, I really thought it was appropriate. One place I did use it, a 0.8, which may be a little light, but I actually double stitched it, but is on a belt. So when I flip this over. It's a big old thick piece of vegetable tan leather, and it's like an 11-ounce leather. So I did use the 0.8 in there, but I actually stitched 2 lines, so it's super thick. If I could do that math, what is that, 1.6? Wow, that's good. God, I hope that's right. But yeah, so I did 2 stitches there, so it does look much heavier, and it's gonna be good to go. So I don't have to worry about anything there. If I'm thinking, so again, 0.8 you can use for wallets. It's a little bit more versatile in that regard. You can use it for some watch straps. When I just do my normal, let's see. Well, I ripped the thread out of this, but when I do my normal fold and do my watch straps like this, a lot of times I'll use a 0.8 on either side, like down here. It's just a thinner one, and again, it's wrapped around twice, so it's going to be plenty sturdy. But yeah, you can use that also for wallet exteriors, interiors. You can use it for watch straps. You can use it for bags and purses. If you're getting to something bigger, let's say like a tote bag, the interior, what do I got here? Here we go. Alright, so I made this big old hefty thing. The exterior, so this is just like a pocket. That is a 1.0, and then, so for my seam here, this is on the inside and on the bottom, that is 1.2. So I made that as sturdy as I could, and this is super heavy leather, so I really wanted something hefty, and you can kind of see the, let me see if I can pull it out here. You kind of see how thick that is. And it's a big old chunk of leather, and so that's going to go all the way down. But the thing is, I'm going to have clothes in here. I'll have stuff in here kind of pulling down on this bottom, and I really want it to be sturdy and stout. So I did go up for that 1.2, and then like I said, the 1.0 on the outside. So anything that's going to have to carry some weight like that, I think you move on up to the 1.0 and 1.2 to really secure it in there. You could probably get away with 0.8. But for me, if I'm going to do it and I'm going to make something like that, I'm going to take my time and, you know, get a thread that kind of makes more sense and kind of gives it, even if it is a look or a visual thing, it kind of makes more sense to the bag to me when it's something big and rugged and it has kind of that chunky thread through there that you know is going to be secure and it'll be around for a long time. All right, now for shoes, boots, things like that. If you look, I do have a sweet pair of boots here. I did not make these, but so this, a lot of this is machine sewn, but you can see the difference here. On some areas it's going to be very thin, and then you look in here, that's got to be about a 1/8 or shoot, maybe even 2. That's thick as it. That's the thickest thread I've seen. So, so again, it's going to be around the sole here. You're sewing in through this shoe. It's going into that. So I mean, it's going to be super strong, but that's about the only place you see something like that. For most of my projects, these smaller handcraft projects, I do. I don't go much above that 1.2, or haven't yet at least. So if I come across something, I may. Some things that I will say, and this is going to be different from that, but is mix matching thread sizes. I don't particularly like. This is a great example. This is a ridiculous shoe I did make. The toe, now I did it in kind of different colors, but this is a much thinner thread here. On this side, it's barely noticeable. Now the difference is, when I hand stitch up here, that is very noticeable. So that's kind of mixed matching stitches. This one basically disappears into the fabric, and then this one almost sticks out a little bit more. So this was a much heavier stitch. And to me, as many ridiculous things as the eye draw to on this particular shoe, for me, because I'm generally my worst critic, that's the kind of stuff that sticks out to me that I just don't like. And you can even see here across the back, like it kind of just disappears. Across here, it just kind of disappears. And then these are just, for me, they're kind of just eyesores. And so I think for something like this, I could use a much thinner stitch. And so I learned my lesson. That's exactly what I did. This one is thin. It's the same size stitch all the way around. I think it's so much cleaner. It almost, again, disappears in here, up here along the side. So it's a much cleaner look, much more refined look. And you don't need that much heft, right? So there's a big difference there and there. I know they are two different shoes, but anyway, the thread size is there to me. One of them I barely notice, and the other one, it's the only thing I notice. And so mix matching like that, I wouldn't particularly go for. If you're doing something with some very, very fine leather, or I guess delicate leather or soft leathers, or kind of that, any real fine leather goods that are doing like that, and you never see it, but don't use a big thick thread on that. They just don't look right. When I'm using vegetable tannin stuff that's just kind of a little bit more rugged, a little bit more durable, or real thick, hefty leather, that's when I use those thick threads, and that's when they're kind of needed. But otherwise, there's not really a use for them, and it would probably be more of an eyesight, and it would probably tug and pull and just not look right for your project. So this is one wallet that I have going on here, and I'm kind of experimenting which thread I like. So this is the biggest I've used in a while. It's a 1.2, and I really like the look of that. I kind of like seeing, especially if I'm hand sewing it, I prefer to see that work in there, and even some contrast and things like that. So I really like the look of that, a little bit heftier seam in there. And whenever I'm hand stitching leather, I just kind of like to see that end product. So I have a lot of, if you notice, all the different colors and things that I do have over there. But I have a PDF I'll put together, just kind of short, quick summary of the different sizes of threads, what they could be used for. If you do have any questions about some projects or something, hit me in the comments. If you've watched this far and you care about thread that much where you could watch the rest of this video, I do appreciate it. If you could hit me with a like, a subscribe, a comment, they go a long way to helping my channel. So I'm just a one-man show, and so I really do appreciate it. All the comments and feedback that I do get, the likes, the subscribes, and the comments. So I do appreciate them. I appreciate you checking out my video, and there'll be more to come. I have quite a few things in the pipeline that I'm trying to get out. I just need to find that one precious thing that I just can't find. Time. We'll see you.